it's easy to see that this compulsion to be undiscriminating is a progressive disease. It doesn't stop at any point. It just gets worse and worse. It starts off as a mildly wacky denial of reality and progresses to total insanity.
Debuting in 2007, the first Mass Effect was praised by both critics and consumers alike. It was then followed up by two successful sequels in 2010 and 2012 respectively. Although most fans felt that the third game's ending was unsatisfactory, the controversy surrounding that was nothing compared to the backlash against the series' most recent follow-up. Mass Effect Andromeda tanked so hard in 2017 that the DLC was cancelled, and the offshoot studio that developed the game ended up closing its doors. Many have rightly argued that the game failed because of terrible writing and woke politics, both within the game itself as well as its development.
You may look scared, but don't let that worry you.
You're all talk, Jorgel Strux.
But if we look back at the original trilogy, it also had plenty of what one might call proto-woke politics.
My species is monogendered. Male and female have no real meaning for us.
We are making a neutral ground where all clans are welcome. Fertile females can be shared among clans. We will strengthen the race as a whole.
It's fun to join a mercenary guild or dance at bars for a few centuries, but eventually you hit the matron stage, you know? Then you get your back tattoo removed, let your scalp go back to its natural blue, and settle down with someone dependable.
I lost a lot of friends that day. I lost my husband.
How do you think things will change after the genophage is cured?
Our species will find its balance again. Females will help shape the future, like in the ancient days, before we were just pawns of power-hungry males. I can handle myself, Rex.
Women have good ideas, Rex. You should listen.
Yeah, but they have so many of them.
This recon scout and I have been at each other's throats. Nerves, mostly. She suggested we settle it in the ring.
Are you attracted to other species?
Well, part of my job is predicting the motives and feelings of humans and aliens. Intimacy brings understanding. And passion is nice wherever you find it. Character matters, not race or gender. Anything else, Commander?
Of course, there were also various instances of what appear to be counterpoints, and if curated properly, these segments might make a case that the series was actually somewhat based.
The Council treats us like second-class citizens. We have to fight for everything we get.
Good. Then fight for it. But don't expect the rest of us to just sit back and let you take it.
Are you saying you enslaved the other species?
Any could oppose us if they wished. And if they had won, they would have ruled. Many tried. None succeeded.
I had no idea Protheans were so severe.
If the ones who know you best can find nothing worthy in you, you should wander the wastes and die alone before you weaken my clan.
You cannot silence the truth. My voice must be heard.
Oh my god!
Even if I knew where he was, I wouldn't tell you.
Not the answer I was looking for.
I've got nothing more to say to you. If you should...
Unacceptable goals. Won't change. No choice. Have to kill you.
Whatever he did, he probably deserves worse.
He certainly does.
We will never leave the planet of Lucia, no matter how much the Asari cry.
Fuck it. Patrol, this is...
Wrong move.
They will exterminate your species because their gods tell them to. You cannot negotiate with them. They do not share your pity, remorse, or fear.
We have an unauthorized landing.
And who authorized you to hold my race hostage?
Now, it's tempting to see these contrasted scenes as evidence of player choice and dynamic storytelling crafted by authors who are abstaining from political commentary, but bias can be seen within various elements. For example, the somewhat one-dimensional portrayal of an Earth-first politician who confronts the player on the Citadel.
Commander Shepard, it is an honor to speak with you.
What's this demonstration about?
I'm Charles Saraceno of the Terra Firma party. With Armistice Day coming soon, we're making our voices heard by the alien appeasers on the Presidium. Can I count on your support in the next election?
I don't know Terra Firma's platform. What do you stand for?
Our core value is that Earth must stand firm against alien influences, politically, culturally, and in the worst case, militarily.
Glad to see some humans growing a backbone.
Excuse me, I don't believe human politics are any of your business.
My business is whatever I say it is.
Stay out of this.
Whatever.
I'm a patriot, Mr. Saraceno. You've got my vote.
It is gratifying to hear that. We can't allow anything like Shanxi to happen again. Since I have your vote, could I convince you to issue a public statement of support for my candidacy? The support of the first human Spectre would be invaluable.
We need more politicians with the courage to stand up for human rights.
Excellent. I'll have my people contact you. Don't worry. We'll take care of everything. Thank you for your time, Commander. Remember Terra Firma on Election Day, because Terra Firma remembers you.
While the player can choose to take a humanity-first stance, it's considered the renegade option in the game's morality system, which assigns moral points based on player decisions that interact with or alter minor aspects of the story. The morality system is divided into two sides, Paragon and Renegade. In standard English, a paragon is a model of excellence, while a renegade is a deserter from one faith cause or allegiance to another, or someone who rejects lawful or conventional behavior. In other words, BioWare signaled that the notion of taking your own species' side was morally suspect in a similar way to killing off the last of an alien race, punching a female reporter in the face, or shooting unarmed civilians. The Mass Effect Codex states that, quote, though founded by well-meaning individuals who feared the submersion of native human cultures under a wave of alien vogue, Terra Firma's agenda attracts many jingoists and xenophobes, unquote.
No blood for aliens!
Now, admittedly, the Paragon Renegade system is often more of a personality statement than a moral stance, especially as the series progresses.
Here for something else? Vorcha? Crew to clean them out? Unlikely. Vorcha a symptom, not a cause. The plague. Investigating possible use as bioweapon.
For the love of God, take a breath. I came here to find you, okay? I'm Commander Shepard. I'm on a critical mission, and I need your help.
But I don't think this negates the periodic social statements the system makes with its slants. Mass Effect is, in many ways, an exploration of racism via an aliens versus humans dichotomy.
Humans are a blight on galactic purity. You, sir, you are a blight. And you, human, and you.
Functionally, the series achieves a pan-human tribalist base by moving our perspective outward on the scale of genetic similarity. That is, it reduces the differences between human races by contrasting them with something substantially more foreign: aliens. Films like The Day the Earth Stood Still did the same thing in the 1950s, so this isn't really new, but the extent to which Mass Effect explicitly explores such ideas is fairly unique.
Every time humanity asks for help, you ignore us.
Shepard's right. I'm sick of this council and its anti-human bull.
Ambassador.
Saren despises humanity. That's why he attacked Eden Prime.
Your species needs to learn its place, Shepard.
The first game establishes that humanity is now united under the banner of the Alliance and is geared toward furthering our collective interests among various alien species. As the wiki states, quote, rather than nations fighting with each other over their differences, it was now us versus them, and the foundations of a united human front were laid, unquote. In the first Mass Effect novel, published as a prequel to the first game shortly before release, the prologue states that the discovery of alien ruins on Mars, quote, had fundamentally united the inhabitants of Earth and helped usher in a, quote, swift and sudden culmination of the pan-global cultural identity that had been slowly but steadily developing over the last century, unquote. Author Andrew Karpyshyn's description of Captain Anderson is also quite telling. Quote, his features, like most citizens in the multicultural society of the late 22nd century, were a mix of several different racial characteristics. predominantly African, but Grissom thought he could see lingering traces of Central European and Native American ancestry as well, unquote. On page 53, he describes Kaylee Sanders, quote, "Average in both height and build, Kaylee's only real distinguishing feature was her shoulder-length blonde hair. A genetically recessive trait, natural blondes were nearly extinct, but her hair was a dirty blonde, with streaks edging toward shades of brown, and there were still plenty of humans who dyed their hair blonde anyway," unquote. The common theme of ethnic Europeans going extinct is something he reiterates again and again, but what's bizarre is that Karpyshyn hints at the notion that everyone still desires their cosmetic traits. On page 7 of Ascension, he writes, quote, "Intermarriage between the various ethnicities of Earth over the past 2 centuries had made alabaster skin a rarity, and Grayson suspected Q's stark complexion was the result of a minor pigment deficiency she had never bothered to reverse, although it was entirely possible she had undergone elective skin lightening for cosmetic purposes," unquote. Perhaps Karpyshyn's Boasian-derived neoliberal vision of the future informs us as to why throughout the entire series, most NPCs appear racially ambiguous automatons.
Bryn, I can't possibly dismantle the genetic amplification components in time.
Sure, if humanity were suddenly confronted with an extraterrestrial species, pan-human bonds might strengthen, but I doubt that billions of East Asians would suddenly rush to intermarry with Africans to satisfy some Kalergian fetish.
我是黑鬼，我是黑鬼，自杀鸡，
More likely, humans would argue internally as to which one of our races would produce the first Spectre, or Citadel Council member. With this in mind, consider how the series asserts that humanity has more genetic diversity than the other races.
How are humans more genetically diverse?
More variable. Peaks and valleys, mutations, adaptations, far beyond other life, makes humans useful test subjects. Larger reactions to smaller stimuli.
I know we can look much different from each other, but Asari have a wide range of skin tones.
No, ignore superficial appearance down to genetic code. Biotic abilities, intelligence levels. Can look at random Asari, Krogan, make reasonable guess. Humans, too variable to judge. Outliers in all species, of course. Geniuses, idiots. But human probability curve offers greater overall variety.
So basically, Morden is saying that prejudiced assumptions about individual Asari and Krogan are totally reasonable, because due to a lack of genetic diversity, most individual Asari and Krogan have highly comparable levels of intelligence and ability with any other member of their race. The scene is intriguing because it almost admits the phenomenon of human races, yet it omits the fact that different human populations don't share equal distributions of traits and abilities. The human diversity that BioWare celebrates is literally because of partial speciation, yet they strongly imply that there are no meaningful trends. In fact, Karpyshyn reduces human diversity down to a set of superficial cosmetic traits that ultimately don't matter because of hair dye and skin bleaching techniques. Moreover, he does this as he praises the homogeneity of other races. When Kaylee Sanders, one of the few remaining natural blondes left among the human race, steps aboard the Quarian migrant fleet, she's taken back by how homogeneous the Quarians are. Quote, "Apart from Lem, who was easy to identify because of his boot, she had learned to rely on specific subtle differences in their clothing to tell the Quarians apart. For example, Sito had a small but noticeable discoloration on the left shoulder of his envirosuit, as if it had been rubbed or worn at constantly over many months. However, if Hendel and Grayson were both wearing envirosuits, it would have been easy to tell them apart without relying on similar tricks. Hendel was half a foot taller and 70 pounds heavier than Jillian's father. That same degree of variance simply didn't exist in the Quarian population. It's like that with all the other races, Kaylee thought to herself. For some reason, humans just have more genetic diversity than the rest of the galaxy. She hadn't really noticed it before, not consciously, but here on the bridge of the Idena, it seemed to strike home. It's happening to us too, she realized as Hendel shook the captain's hand. The big man's mix of Nordic and Indian ancestry was the norm on Earth now, and the inevitable genetic byproduct was a more physically homogeneous population. In the 22nd century, blonde hair like hers was a rarity, and naturally blue eyes were non-existent. But with hair dye, skin toning, and colored contact lenses, who really cares? Unquote. The idea of the human race slowly homogenizing within the Mass Effect universe is strange when you delve into the lore. As the Codex states, quote, Travel to planets with unique forms of life brought an awareness that Earth's unique biodiversity could be lost if spliced and hybridized to gain useful alien qualities. The Sudham-Walcott Genetic Heritage Act was passed by the Systems Alliance Parliament in 2161. It imposed sharp restrictions on controversial uses of genetic engineering, but provided government subsidies for beneficial applications, unquote. So on one hand, the creators of the series felt very strongly about preserving Earth's biodiversity, but trivialized the loss of the European phenotype. They celebrate diversity, yet also celebrate homogenization. Again, when Kaylee Sanders visits the migrant fleet, she's in awe of how civilized, respectful, and courteous Quarian society is, despite being so overcrowded. Yet Karpyshyn appears to hint that the high-functioning efficiency of Quarian society is related to how homogeneous it is. Quote, "At first glance, the scene resembled the crowded market square of any colony world. A closer look, however, showed it was very, very different. It lacked the aggressive, bustling energy of a typical bazaar. Despite the crowd, 40 or 50 people by her guess, nobody was pushing, shoving, or fighting over items. Often, 2 or 3 people would stop and talk, though they were always careful to move aside so they didn't block the aisles when they did so," unquote. What comes to mind here is a particular scene in the first game when Kaidan Alenko comments on how difficult it must be to manage life on the Citadel because of its diversity.
The Council represents more races than I thought. No wonder they're careful with newcomers.
They probably just want to keep everything running. It has to be hard keeping all these cultures working together.
It's interesting that even after establishing a singular human identity, the Mass Effect series proceeds to advocate for breaking down the xenophobic barriers between humans and aliens. Curiously though, the entire premise of the third game requires the player to travel the galaxy doing other races favors to gain their support in the fight to save Earth, because essentially, as Ashley Williams stated in the first game, when faced with a threat, the other races put their own people first.
Look, if you're fighting a bear and the only way for you to survive is to sick your dog on it and run, you'll do it. As much as you love your dog, it isn't human. It's not racism, not really. Members of their species will always be more important to them than humans are.
These seem like deeply held beliefs, Williams. What made you think this way?
My family's defended the Alliance since it was founded. My father, grandfather, great-grandmother, they all picked up a rifle and swore the oath of service. I guess we just tend to think of Earth's interests as our own. Members of their species will always be more important to them than humans are.
You sound like one of those Terra Firma party pamphlets, Chief.
Terra Firma is a pack of jackals. The founders had ideals. These days they just play off xenophobia and bigotry.
This is an Alliance warship, not the Parliament floor. If you're Earth first, vote for the Terra Firma party.
This isn't a one-off topic either. There are similar conversations with Navigator Presley.
I'm in charge here, Presley. I decide if we have non-humans on this vessel.
What about her, the Quarian?
You saw me in the alley, Commander. You know what I can do. Let me come with you.
I think this is more than you can handle.
She's already survived a run-in with the Geth Shepard, and we need all the help we can get. Take her with you.
I decide if we have non-humans on this vessel.
Take her with you.
I decide if we have non-humans on this vessel.
Take her with you.
This is your show, Shepard, but I want to bring Saren down as much as you do. I'm coming with you.
I don't need a Turian shooting me in the back when I least expect it.
All Turians are not the same.
You can come along.
Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
Upon returning to the Citadel with the Normandy for the first time, a human admiral demands to inspect your vessel and expresses concern about its non-human crew.
What are you thinking, Commander? You can't allow alien nationals free access to Alliance equipment?
Between Saren and the Geth, we have enough enemies out here. Treating other species with suspicion and distrust won't win hearts and minds.
That assumes the hearts and minds are worth winning. That hasn't been proven yet. What are you thinking, Commander? You can't allow alien nationals free access to Alliance equipment?
I'm Normandy's commanding officer. The reg state I have the authority to say who does and doesn't come aboard.
Take her with you.
Now clearly, most fans wanted to play with alien companions in a game about saving the galaxy, so the fact that BioWare created an illusion of choice is, on one hand, not surprising. Developing an entirely new set of human characters for a small, Earth-first niche audience wouldn't be practical in terms of cost. But on the other hand, the fact that BioWare constantly brings up, focuses on, and condemns xenophobia, even in a post-racial global society, seems to confirm that the compulsion to be undiscriminating is indeed a progressive disease. Here's another line from Karpyshyn's novel to help drive home the point. Quote, "The lieutenant couldn't help but smile at the situation, a Volus bartender spotting depression in his human customer and feeling enough compassion to ask what was wrong. Further proof of what Anderson truly believed. Despite all the obvious physical and cultural differences, at their core, nearly every species shared the same basic needs, wants, and values." Unquote. One of the most interesting forms of anti-tribalist, anti-nationalist messaging in the series resides within the depiction of the human-first terrorist group, Cerberus. In the first game, they start out as a rogue Black Ops organization conducting illegal genetic experiments to create super soldiers.
They've gone completely rogue, Shepard. They're conducting illegal genetic experiments trying to create some kind of super soldier.
While they're not essential to the first game's plot, in the second game, however, they take on a very primary role. After Commander Shepard is killed by a collector vessel, Cerberus recovers his dead body and spends a fortune to bring him back to life. Their leader, the Elusive Man, then asks Shepard to investigate the disappearance of human colonies. The Alliance and the Citadel Council had abandoned Shepard for dead and refused to do anything to impede the continued abduction of the colonists. Thus, humanity's hero reluctantly cooperates with Cerberus for the duration of the game as a qualified ally. Initially, the writers give the player opportunities to explore the shadowy group's motivations. Rather than portray them in strictly negative terms at first, they set a somewhat inquisitive tone.
I know what we're doing here, but what's Cerberus's long-term goal?
The advancement of the human race. Nothing more, nothing less. The Solarians have the Special Tasks Group. The Asari have their legendary commandos for stealth and recon operations. Cerberus is humanity's answer to those organizations.
Cerberus looks out for humanity, but that doesn't mean we hate aliens.
However, there are numerous cues that Cerberus and the Elusive Man are withholding darker motives.
So how many operations is Cerberus running right now?
I have a block that prevents me from answering that question.
You'll pardon us for not taking you at your word, Cerberus.
You have been manipulated by Cerberus, and before them by Saren.
That's right. They used to stage fights here, pit me against other kids.
I don't know who you are, but Cerberus threatened the security of the migrant fleet.
I found the anomaly with Cerberus detection protocols. He wrote them.
He knew it was a trap? Why would he send us into a trap?
Clearly, the player is not meant to trust the group and is to remain suspicious. The second game's codex entry is quite overt in terms of how Cerberus is viewed.
Immediately following the First Contact War, an anonymous extranet manifesto warned that an alien attempt at human genocide was inevitable. The manifesto called for an army, a Cerberus, to guard against invasion through the Charon Relay. Derided as survivalist rhetoric written by an elusive man, the manifesto and its anonymous author soon fell off the media radar. But in 2165, terrorists stole antimatter from the SSV Geneva. The sole figure arrested named his sponsor Cerberus. Throughout the 2160s and 2170s, alleged Cerberus agents assassinated politicians, sabotaged starships bearing Ezo, and conducted nightmarish experiments on aliens and humans. Denounced as human supremacist, Cerberus calls itself human survivalist. Counter-terror experts speculate Cerberus may have changed leadership with its recent shift to stockpiling ships, agents, and weapons. Whether he, she, or they, the elusive man hides his finances hidden behind shell companies. Few doubt he will kill anyone attempting to expose him.
The symbolism of the nomenclature here shouldn't go unnoticed. A Cerberus comes from Greek mythology. It is the hound of Hades that guards the underworld, preventing the dead from leaving and the living from entering. Charon is the ferryman escorting the dead across the river of Styx. Thus, a vivid analogy can be made. The Sol System is the underworld, and the Charon Relay is humanity's link to the land of the living, i.e., Citadel space. The Elusive Man is thus the hound of Hades, preventing humanity from leaving the underworld.
With Cerberus gone, there is nothing to stop the dead from crossing over to the world of the living.
Essentially, the writers were conveying the idea that tribalism holds us back, and that only by embracing outgroups can we truly liberate ourselves. Consider that in the first game, when the Reaper Sovereign attacked the Citadel, if the player refused to sacrifice thousands of human lives to save the Council, it was considered renegade behavior. The morally sound option was to sacrifice human lives to save alien leaders who not only rejected your warnings, but refused to send any aid to prevent the Geth from attacking human colonies. Now, that said, if you let the Council die, the debriefing afterwards with the human ambassador, Udina, can get very interesting.
We got your message, Ambassador. What's all this about?
These are strange times, Captain. The battle with Sovereign changed everything, and we need to talk about what happened to the Council.
Commander Shepard did the right thing. We had to hold our fleet back to go after Sovereign. It was the only way.
I agree, but this also presents us with an opportunity. The Council is dead. The galaxy is looking for leadership. The Citadel fleets were decimated in the attack. The losses have made the Alliance stronger. If we step forward now, nobody will be able to stop us.
The Council was always holding us back. When I saw the opportunity to get rid of them, I took it.
Good God, Shepard. How can you even say that?
Don't act so surprised, Captain. We all know it's true. Sacrificing the Council assured our victory over Sovereign. The end justified the means. We humans understand that. It's what makes us stronger than the others.
What are you saying?
The galaxy needs leadership, real leadership. When a crisis hits, we can't be paralyzed by debate like the old Council. The new Council must rule with a single voice. It must be assembled from one species alone, humanity.
The rest of the galaxy isn't just going to bow down because we tell them to. We'll need the fleets to bring them in line.
The other species are scared. They've never faced anything like this before, and they don't know what to do. They want us to step forward. They believe in humanity because of you. Your ruthless pursuit of Saren and the Geth, your defiance of the Council, that's what humans are capable of. That's how we can defeat the Reapers. The others will follow us, Shepard. They know we're their only hope. We will have a human council with a human chairman.
The Ambassador's right. I may not like it, but we can't deny the truth.
Given everything you've done, Commander, the Alliance will want to know who you think our chairman should be.
We need someone who understands how politics really works. You've shown you know how to play this game.
He is the logical choice. So what happens now?
You two can argue politics all you want, but the Reapers are still out there. They're coming. And I'm gonna find some way to stop them.
Shepard's right. We're headed for war with the Reapers. If we lose, it's the end of all life as we know it. And no other species in the galaxy truly understands what it will take to survive. The other races will have to follow our lead. We need to take control. It's time for humanity to rise up and seize its destiny.
This is about as extreme as Mass Effect ever gets in terms of allowing you to take a quote-unquote pro-human stance. Nothing else even comes close. In fact, the tone here is quite startling, since the rest of the game is milquetoast by comparison. Now I have to admit, I found the scene refreshing, even if it was a bit of a caricature of how some folks view nationalism. The Citadel Council's behavior had almost ushered in the arrival of the Reapers, and, thereby, the extinction of the entire human race. It was only because of Shepard's persistence and the human fleet that the Reaper invasion was stopped. The Council ignored all the warnings, refused to shore up their defenses, and at some points actively impeded Shepard from pursuing Saren and the Geth. Moreover, it's not as if Shepard actually killed the Council himself. He simply chose to hold human forces in reserve until they had an opportunity to attack Sovereign, and yet the developers apparently thought this was something dark and sinister. I suppose, however, that none of this really matters, because quite disappointingly, these choices amounted to nothing in the second game. The new human-led Council and the Alliance leave you for dead after your ship is attacked by the Collectors, and even upon hearing that you're still alive, they offer you no support. In fact, when you return to the Citadel, Anderson grills you for working with Cerberus, and Udina expresses disdain for you, suggesting that the Council feels the same way.
Some of what I hear has been, frankly, a little disturbing. Rumors that you're working with Cerberus haven't helped. What are you doing out there? I can't even toss you a symbolic title like Spectre. Udina keeps close tabs on that designation. He's decided it's just an invitation to go rogue. Fine way to show gratitude for putting him in the big seat.
I'll have to make sure to speak with the rest of the council and let them know I had nothing to do with you coming here.
You know they refused to meet with the commander?
And you'll know they have good reason. The others will follow us, Shepard. They know we're their only hope. We will have a human council with a human chairman.
Udina and the others have spent the past 2 years convincing themselves the Reapers don't exist.
We're headed for war with the Reapers. If we lose, it's the end of all life as we know it. And no other species in the galaxy truly understands what it will take to survive.
Even Ashley Williams, the patriot xenophobe, is now angry at you for teaming up with Cerberus.
You're with Cerberus now? I can't believe the reports were right. You've turned your back on everything we stood for.
The past is done. You need to focus on what's happening now. You saw it yourself. The Collectors are targeting human colonies, and they're working with the Reapers.
I'd like to believe you, Shepard, but I don't trust Cerberus. And it worries me that you do. What did they do to you? What if they're behind it? What if they're the ones working with the Collectors?
Now, unsurprisingly, the second game's ending doesn't make any pretenses about putting human interests first, or taking your own side. In the final dialogue with the Elusive Man, the conversation is severely limited, such that the player can't show any approval for Cerberus or the Elusive Man.
You hold anything back. Anything. And you're out.
It's not that easy, Shepard. We need each other.
I'm gonna stop the Reapers, but I won't sacrifice the soul of our species to do it. Remember that.
It would seem that the purpose of Mass Effect 2 was to teach us something about how you can't trust nationalists, because they will invariably seek imperialism and confuse personal ambition with public interests.
Adapting the technology of the Collector base could be the biggest advancement for humankind since the discovery of the relays. It will secure our dominance in the galaxy against the Reapers and beyond.
Human dominance? Or just Cerberus?
They're one and the same. My mission has always been to promote and secure humanity's continued strength.
In Mass Effect 3, Cerberus goes from a shady ally to unequivocal cartoonish bad guys who are as big a threat to humanity as the ancient machine race that genocides the entire galaxy every 50,000 years. They kill unarmed civilians, kidnap children, and turn refugees into zombies. The game even holds up Arya Taluk and the gangs of Omega as morally superior. Within Mass Effect's moral hierarchy, Cerberus is almost at the very bottom. The only people lower are Shepard's Cerberus clone and a sidekick who abandoned Cerberus because they worked with aliens in the second game.
You're Cerberus?
Was. Mr. Elusive and I didn't see eye to eye. We were a pro-human group who started looking to aliens for help. So I bided my time. And when I found another you who agreed, I woke him up.
Now, the somewhat sympathetic touch given to Cerberus in the second game was likely little more than a way of showing you that your teammates working for the Elusive Man weren't bad people per se, but simply misguided. In Mass Effect 3, your former Cerberus squadmates leave the ultra-nationalist group after seeing the Elusive Man for what he actually was, a master manipulator whose humanity-first fanaticism threatened not just humans, but the survival of the entire galaxy.
Cerberus troops are attacking the base. Get the females out of there now!
Cerberus is attacking the facility. They're after my students.
If the Elusive Man is good at one thing, it's finding new ways to subvert science.
I can get this intel to Eden Prime's resistance. Maybe it will help them fight back against Cerberus.
We sent a recon team to investigate, and the Cerberus squads reacted by targeting civilians in public facilities.
Shepard, the Citadel is under attack. Cerberus troops are everywhere and they're in control of the docks.
This is not a refugee camp. This is a Cerberus facility run by my father, Henry Lawson.
Suicide fighter took out one of the guns. Cerberus troops are...
Now, as compelling as some of the fan theories are, and despite how they aptly fill in many of the plot holes and inconsistencies, I generally take the trilogy's ending at face value. The galactic community pulls together its resources and creates a giant superweapon called the Crucible, which can destroy their ultimate enemy, the Reapers, an ancient machine race that wipes out all advanced organic civilization in the galaxy every 50,000 years. After a long battle to gain access to the Citadel, which is required for the Crucible to work, Shepard is confronted by the Elusive Man, who has been indoctrinated by the Reapers. The Elusive Man impedes Shepard from activating the Crucible and tries to convince him that the key to saving humanity is to control the Reapers, rather than destroy them. Shepard asserts that the Elusive Man's lust for power has betrayed humanity.
You're weak, and you're selfish. Because of you, humanity will suffer.
No! I saved humanity!
No. You sacrificed us for your own selfish wants. Your lust for control.
Then, Shepard can either aggravate the Elusive Man to the point where he has an opportunity to shoot him.
I am the pinnacle of our...
Or he can convince him to commit suicide. The conversation unfolds without any real differences, always conveying the idea that trying to control the Reapers is morally suspect. Afterwards, Shepard collapses at a control panel and is then raised up to the inner sanctum of the Catalyst. The Catalyst, taking the form of a human child it killed back on Earth, explains to Shepard that it not only controls the Reapers, but is also their collective intelligence. It reveals that an ancient organic race saw that all synthetic creations ended up destroying their creators. In response to this observation, they created the Catalyst to oversee synthetic organic relations and to ensure the continued existence of organic life. However, the Catalyst discovered that the conflict was inevitable, regardless of efforts, and to the chagrin of its creators, decided to harvest advanced organic life and preserve it in the form of a new Reaper.
You represent chaos. We represent order. Every organic civilization must be harvested in order to bring order to the chaos. It is inevitable.
Digital Leatherface reveals that Shepard's presence in his inner sanctum shows that the harvest cycle can no longer work, and that a new solution is required. But it's Shepard who must make the choice. The Catalyst informs him that there are 3 ways to use the Crucible.
If there is to be a new solution, you must act. It is now in your power to destroy us. But be warned, others will be destroyed as well. The Crucible will not discriminate. All synthetics will be targeted.
But the Reapers will be destroyed?
Yes, but the peace won't last. Soon, your children will create synthetics, and then the chaos will come back.
There has to be another way.
There is. You could instead use the energy of the Crucible to seize control of the Reapers.
So, the Elusive Man was right after all.
Yes, but he could never have taken control, because we already controlled him.
But I can.
You will die. You will control us, but you will lose everything you have.
How can I control the Reapers if I'm dead?
Your corporeal form will be dissolved, but your thoughts and even your memories will continue. Your connection to your kind will be lost, though you will remain aware of their existence.
I didn't fight this war so I could give up everything I have.
And I do not look forward to being replaced by you, but I would be forced to accept it.
Not if I refuse to do it.
There is another solution. Synthesis.
And that is?
Add your energy to the Crucibles. The chain reaction will combine all synthetic and organic life into a new framework, a new DNA.
Explain how my energy can be added to the Crucible.
There is little time left, but I will try. Your organic energy, the essence of who and what you are, will be broken down and then dispersed.
To do what, exactly?
The energy of the Crucible, released in this way, will alter the matrix of all organic life in the galaxy. It is the ideal solution. Now that we know it is possible, it is inevitable we will reach synthesis.
Why couldn't you do it sooner?
We have tried a similar solution in the past, but it has always failed.
Why?
Because the organics were not ready. It is not something that can be forced. You are ready, and you may choose it.
The dialogue with the Catalyst, I believe, is meant to be taken at face value, and it implies that the only viable solution is synthesis. The idea of control had been villainized since the beginning of the series, from Geth slave labor for the Quarians to the Collector pawns of Harbinger, from Edie's AI shackles to colonist conversion into husks. The entire point of the confrontation with the elusive man on the Citadel was to convey that control is morally suspect, that in your search for control over others, you lose control over yourself. The option to destroy, as the Catalyst explains, is only a temporary solution, and that eventually the cosmic cycle of violence will return. Moreover, when the players are presented with the option, they're meant to reflect on the relationships they've formed with the Geth and Edie. If they choose this option, they will, in effect, kill an entire race, as well as a dear friend. Sure, you can technically have destroyed the Geth at this point, but there was never an option to reject Edie as a crew member or an ally. And, more importantly, the game's plot devices all forcefully led you to at least entertain the notion that the Geth were people too. When you first encounter the Geth character Legion, the game strongly conveys that there's more to it than a typical Geth. What's more, even if you hand over its body to Cerberus for study, you still end up encountering it in the third game, and once again are forced to entertain notions of Geth personhood and organic xenophobia of synthetics.
You were on board the derelict Reaper where I found the IFF.
Yes.
I gave your body to Cerberus.
We are a reconstruction of that now defunct intelligence. We were originally created to investigate the activities of the old machines.
Old machines? You mean the Reapers?
Yes. When those you call Reapers took control of the Geth, we were imprisoned here.
The Geth were reprogrammed by the Reapers. I doubt you're an exception.
Shepard Commander, wait. We can assist you. The old machines are using us to broadcast their signal to all Geth units simultaneously.
And that makes me less likely to shoot you... how?
We will help liberate the Geth from their control. Destroy us, and they will remain the slaves of your enemies. Freeing us will end the signal. You may then destroy us if you deem it necessary.
Fine. We'll get you out.
Legion's benevolent cooperation and assistance in your escape from the Geth ship as it's being attacked by the Quarians is also noteworthy.
As a gesture of cooperation, we have disabled the Dreadnought's drive core. All weapons and barriers are offline.
Admiral, what are you doing? Grant, check your screens. The Dreadnought is helpless. No barriers, and the main gun is offline. We can remove their flagship if we strike now.
What are you talking about? We're still on board.
We can't waste this chance. Heavy fleet all forward.
Your fellow organics are sacrificing your lives in their relentless pursuit of their enemies, ironically after Legion's assistance has presented them with the opportunity to do so. And yet despite this, your perceived enemy is now trying to save you. The idea is that your in-group is willing to kill you, but this individual from an out-group is trying to help you. The series often suggests that synthetics and organics are fundamentally different from one another, while at the same time it signals that the Geth-Quarian conflict arose because of typical tribalist dynamics. For example, if Shepard allows the Quarians to destroy the Geth, Edie expresses disapproval.
Come on, Edie. Look, I know how you feel, but...
That is unlikely, Jeff. An entire species of synthetics has been utterly destroyed.
Letting the Geth get that upgrade would have sentenced the Quarians to death. They had civilians. Children.
The children and civilians were effectively held hostage by the Quarians themselves. They forced the issue. You chose the more sympathetic race. The organics.
That's a load of crap. The Geth didn't get turned into husks. They chose to join the Reapers. Extenuating circumstances, yeah, but still. Some of the Geth saw the Reapers as gods, so don't act like we're the bad guys for not trusting them.
You are right, Jeff. Perhaps you are not the only ones who instinctively side with the familiar.
What's interesting about this scene is that it takes for granted that it would be wrong for Shepard to choose the Quarians over the Geth for any kind of racist motivations. And yet, curiously, EDI acknowledges her own bias toward fellow synthetic beings, though she does so with a certain disregard for what Jeff actually said. Jeff didn't concede her accusation of racism. Instead, he rejected it and went on the defense, asserting that the Geth chose their side. But the writers strongly undermine this perspective with the aggressive nature of the Quarian fleet in face of Legion's repeated attempts at diplomacy.
Come on, Admiral. That's a living creature, no matter what platform it's running on.
And they will die when we destroy the base.
They allied with the Reapers.
To save themselves from you.
Your entire history is you trying to kill the Geth. You forced them to rebel.
Mass Effect 3 shifts the focus completely away from the past atrocities committed by the Geth, who had murdered thousands of humans on Eden Prime and tried to bring about a galactic extinction event. Instead, the game seeks to show how they've been victimized as a race, and floats the idea that you can end the conflict by making them stronger.
We can confirm that the Geth are no longer being directed by the old machines. We are free.
You did it, Shepard. The Geth fleet has stopped firing. They're completely vulnerable.
Shepard Commander, the Geth only acted in defense after the Creators attacked. Do we deserve death?
What are you suggesting?
Our upgrades. With the old machine dead, we could upload them to all Geth without sacrificing their independence.
You want to upload the Reaper code? That would make the Geth as smart as when the Reaper was controlling them.
Yes, but with free will, each Geth unit would be a true intelligence. We would be alive, and we could help you.
Sure, the game makes it possible to broker a lasting peace between the Geth and the Quarians, but this was a completely naive and maladaptive mindset to reinforce in players. The fact is that even if you believe Legion is sincere, you're still gambling with billions of people's lives. There's no proof that the soon-to-be fully upgraded and independent Geth will share Legion's supposed goodwill. And again, he could simply be lying. His motivation for cooperation up until this point could have been to simply acquire Reaper upgrades for his people without Reaper control. It may give us warm fuzzy feelings to resolve this conflict peacefully, but after weighing the potential consequences, it seems like an obscene risk. If Shepard resolves the conflict peacefully and the Geth survive after Legion sacrifices himself to upgrade the Geth, then EDI expresses gratitude for Shepard's lack of in-group preference.
After seeing what the Geth rebellion really looked like, I figured they deserved a chance.
Thank you, Commander. I doubt many organics would have trusted a synthetic race.
And now we've got 2 fleets for the price of 1. We didn't lose anybody.
Except Legion, before it sacrificed itself. Legion referred to itself as I instead of we.
Direct personality dissemination required. Shepard Commander, I must go to them.
Yeah? So?
The singular pronoun indicates Legion's independent personality had fully actualized. In its last moments, it was not an avatar of the Geth consensus. It was a person.
Curiously, EDI then comments on the historical errors of the Quarians with regards to their creation of the Geth.
I was just reflecting. The Quarians' historical era was not making the Geth enough like them.
I'm not sure I understand.
Units with networked intelligences will trend toward cooperation for mutual benefit. But units with central heuristics establishing an individual personality, such as myself, develop preferences. These preferences form attachments that keep my calculations from devaluing the worth of the lives aboard the Normandy.
You're saying the Geth turned on the Quarians because they aren't individuals?
That is my theory.
Now, putting aside that EDI appears to have forgotten that the Quarians are a highly collectivist ethnic group, it seems that she's trying to convey that fully aware, intelligent beings view themselves as individuals rather than members of a group, and that conflict stems from competing group identities. And yet EDI gets upset at Shepard for not extending trust to millions of quote-unquote individuals with whom he's never interacted, aside from the avatar of their supposed consensus, which had betrayed his own people in a civil war over the future of their race. For as interesting as Mass Effect is at times, when taken as a whole, it appears to be a convoluted train wreck of cognitive dissonance. Diversity is somehow both a strength and a source of conflict. Humanity is diverse, and this is what makes us unique. But we're well on our way to becoming as homogenous as the other races, and that's just fantastic. Moreover, the synthetic-organic conflict is simply a further moving up the progressive inclusivity scale.
Okay, look, we shouldn't need evidence or logic to know who's family and who isn't.
Humanity had to unite to defeat the alien threat, but then humans found out that aliens were people too, so organics had to unite to defeat the synthetic threat. But synthetics turned out to be people too, so galactic miscegenation is now required to defeat the notion of cosmic conflict.
The essence of who and what you are will be broken down and then dispersed.
Direct personality dissemination required. Shepard Commander, I must go to them. Each Geth unit would be a true intelligence. We would be alive, and we could help you.
It's easy to see that this compulsion to be undiscriminating is a progressive disease. It doesn't stop at any point. It just gets worse and worse. It starts off as a mildly wacky denial of reality and progresses to total insanity. It is a disease to which most normal, otherwise sane people are susceptible. They don't ordinarily develop the disease by themselves, but it can be induced in them by a sufficiently skillful and prolonged brainwashing campaign. Ordinary, reasonable people can be made to believe the most extraordinary and unreasonable things if they are subjected to prolonged brainwashing.
It was mutating our environment. It was destroying everything.
It wasn't destroying. It was changing everything. It was making something new.